Hello, boxing fans. This is Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and we are back for another session of Fisticuffs featuring Glory Days Boxing. And before we get to the current match, I want to point out that thank you to viewers for bringing it to my attention. I inadvertently, in the Rocky Marciano Jack Dempsey Championship bout, which was the last boxing telecast on the channel, used a blue 1D12 instead of a 1D20 for the defensive and knockdown checks, which obviously impacted the end of that fight. So the Glory Days Boxing Commission has ordered an investigation, determined there was some shenanigans, and that result has been upheld, the title suspended, and the Glory Days Boxing Association has ordered a rematch between Dempsey and Marciano for the heavyweight championship. So that will be upcoming, and again, the title is upheld pending the result of that. In this fight, we have a fight that could have taken place during Jack Johnson's title reign. Jack Johnson versus Arthur Pelkey, and a brief background on this. Pelkey was one of the quote-unquote great white hopes of the era, and defeated Luther McCarty in a very tragic fight, which was a subject of one of my vlogs, Triumphs and Tragedies of the Ring, on the channel. McCarty was the superior fighter and was actually probably the most highly touted, highly regarded, again, quote-unquote great white hope of the era, and given a good shot to defeat Johnson. However, he had suffered a head injury by falling off a horse prior to his fight with Pelkey, and resulted in a brain bleed, which was exacerbated, or I guess we could say manifested, by a light punch he took from Pelkey early in that fight. He collapsed, was counted out, and actually died in the ring in the first round of that bout. Burns, who had again hoped, Tommy Burns, who had hoped to parlay this fight into an opportunity for his fighter. It never materialized. The ring, or the arena where the fight was held, was burned down, suspected arson the next day, and Pelkey was never the same fighter, and he finished his career really on the downward turn, and also had to defend himself legally against manslaughter charges, which were later dismissed. So that kind of derailed his hope for a title shot. So we're going to replay this as if it had happened. And the participants in this fight, Jack Johnson, his trait, he has the old master trait, which is -1 from opponent's punches landed on all toe-to-toe exchanges. Pelkey has the reluctant trait, meaning he does not like toe-to-toe exchanges, and it's a -1 from both fighters' punches landed on a toe-to-toe exchange. So final adjustments when we do have an offensive action by both fighters: -1 from Johnson's punches landed, -2 from Pelkey's. Our officials today: referee is Richard Steele. He is normal for stoppages, lax with fouls, so there will be a -1 to the foul ratings for both fighters, making Johnson's rating a 7 and Pelkey's a 2. Judges are Harold Letterman, Adelaide Bird, and Richard Green. Letterman and Green fall in line with the standard scoring. Adelaide Bird is all over the place. She tends to favor the fighter who lands the least amount of punches in a round. Just ask Triple G in his first fight against Canelo. So she will change the scoring. So that said, principles are in place. Johnson, a record of 73, 13, and 10, 40 KOs, nicknamed the Galveston Giant or Little Arthur. And Pelkey, whose career went off the rails after the McCarty tragedy, finished 23, 25, and 3, 18 KOs. The bell has rung. We are ready to go. So 3 and 4, outside and outside for both fighters. Johnson, with 2 stars, has control. And again, rolling the die, you will roll the 2D10 and the resolution die, 1D20 at the same time. 70 is going to be a miss from the outside for Johnson. Pelkey counters on a roll of 1 to 4. 7, he misses. So no scoring. We go to the next segment of round 1. Johnson. 1 star outside, 1 star outside for Pelkey. They're going to exchange blows, and Johnson first as he has control. And on a toe-to-toe exchange, it is an offensive action for both fighters only. No defensive actions take place. So Johnson 06, and from the outside, that's going to be a 3-point jab, and Pelkey comes back with his punches. And 54 from the outside, and that is going to be a miss. So only Johnson scores, and he has momentum as we head into the next segment of the round. 6s for both. It's going to take place inside. Johnson, offensive control, and actually, I forgot the adjustment for that, for the trait. So toe-to-toe, -1 from Johnson's punches landed. 43 on the inside, and that's going to be a 3-point uppercut. Pelkey trying to block some of that. 14, he does not. So on to segment 4, and Johnson off to a decisive advantage early in this fight. No stars for either, and action will take place on the inside. Toe-to-toe, Johnson first. 20, 13 is going to be a possible, or 20 is going to be a possible cut. 13. And that is a 2-point cross reduced to 1 for the adjustment. We will check the cut after this, and Pelkey misses. So Pelkey's cut rating is an 8, and an 8 it is. So he's going to suffer a cut or swelling. And 15, going to be a gash over the left eye. So gash left eye, and on a gash, you will make an immediate, the first time it is open, an immediate check for stoppage. So 1 to 4, this is so severe, Steele will stop it, and he lets it go, and we move on to the next segment. So Pelkey is bleeding. Both fighters roll 5 outside, 1 star each. They're going to exchange punches again. And Johnson from the outside, he misses. Pelkey looking to get on the scoreboard, so to speak, 43, and that is going to be a miss as well. So on to the next segment we go. No damage by either fighter. Pelkey continuing to bleed, and 4 outside, 2 stars, inside, no stars. Johnson has control from the outside, gets the offensive action, and it's going to be a possible knockdown, and 20. That is a 4-point hook. So Pelkey, his chin knockdown rating is a 6, and he survives. He is not stunned, but Johnson very decisively in control at this point. On to the final 40 seconds of the round, and 4 and 1, 1 star each from the outside. They're going to exchange punches again. And again, I forgot to make that deduction from Johnson. And I rolled the wrong dice. 53 from the outside, and that is going to be a 3-point uppercut reduced to 2. And a possible knockdown, which we will come back and check for. And Pelkey, 26 from the outside, and that's going to be a 4-point hook reduced to 2 for his adjustment. And Johnson landing some big blows, 11, and Pelkey takes those as well. Not stunned, not knocked down, and we go to the final segment of the round. Outside, 3 stars for Johnson. He's going to have offensive control as Pelkey has no 3-star categories. And from the outside, possible foul for Johnson. He lands a punch, and his foul rating is reduced to a 7 since Steele is lax. No foul, and the round is over. So a dominating round for Jack Johnson. He lands 12 punches, and Pelkey lands 2. So Pelkey's stamina for round 2 is going to go down to 63, and Johnson's 88. And the scoring, and there is a 10-point differential. So on 10-point, 1 to 19 for Steele, or I'm sorry, Letterman. 10-9 for Johnson. Adelaide Bird on a is 9. There's 1 to 18 for the high score. She gives it to Johnson as well, and Richard Green does also. So 10-9 across the board, as that should be for Jack Johnson, and we head to the second round, and Johnson carries momentum over into the second round. Here we go. Outside 2 stars, inside 2 stars, so it's going to take place on the outside. They will exchange as tie goes to the fighter with momentum, and 65, and it's going to be a miss by Johnson. And Pelkey, and 0-5, he lands a 3-point jab reduced to 1 due to the toe-to-toe exchange adjustment, but He does capture momentum heading into the next segment. Inside, no stars for Johnson. Outside, 1 star for Pelkey. Pelkey gets the offensive action from the outside. And 32, and Pelkey just missed a possible knockdown. And that is going to be a 2-point hook. And Johnson looking to block that. A very good defensive fighter. 1-7, he's going to block at least some of those, but he does not. So Pelkey gets the 2 punches landed, and we move on to segment 3. Pelkey maintaining momentum. Inside, 2 stars. Outside, no stars. Johnson has control on the inside. He gets the offensive action, and 18, and that's going to be a 4-point hook, and Pelkey looking to take some of that damage away, does not. So Johnson on the board now and snatches momentum back. 3-4, Johnson maintains control, and on the outside this time, he will have the offensive action. Pelkey the defensive action. 19, possible cut again. So 13 from the outside, and that is going to be a 3-point jab. And Pelkey does not have a defensive action. He now has to make a cut check. So again, a 1-10, that gash over his left eye will be reopened using the optional rules, and that's what happens. So Richard Steele has stopped the action again, and the second time a gash is opened, 1-10, it is going to be stopped. So, and actually, forget that. I should have checked to see if Pelkey even suffered a cut. My bad. My game, I should know the rules. So 8 or less, a possible cut, and that does not happen. So never mind, we'll not be checking for a stoppage. Sequence on that, possible cut, check cut first, then check to see if existing cut is reopened. Apologies for that. So next segment, and Johnson still with momentum. Both fighters from the outside, and they are tied. They're going to exchange blows. Johnson goes first. And 11, that is going to be a 3-point jab reduced to 2. And Pelkey, 45 from the outside, and he is going to miss. So on to the next segment, Johnson maintaining control. 6-3 inside for both fighters. Johnson has 2 stars to 1. He has the offensive action. 29 from the inside, and that is a 2-point hook. And Pelkey, 20 does not affect that. And we move on to the final 40 seconds of the round. 4s across the board, and that's outside. Johnson has offensive control. And 84, that's going to be a miss. Pelkey looking to counter. He does not. Heading into the final 20 seconds of the round. And I don't like the way this sometimes slides when I'm recording. So I'm going to start using the score sheet here to do the timing so you won't see this pawn next round. Anywho, outside, 1 star for Johnson, inside 2 for Pelkey. Pelkey has offensive action. And 69 on the inside, and that is going to be a miss. Johnson with a chance to counter, and 1-8 is going to get a counter home, and that is a 2-point cross. So Johnson finishes the round in style again. Another decisive round for little Arthur. As we head to the third, and as I indicated, I'm going to start checking the score sheet to keep time. So in that round, 13 punches to 3, another 10 punch differential. Johnson, very fresh, his stamina only down to 85, and Pelkey is down to 50. We will do the scoring now, 10-point differential again. And 1-19. Johnson, Johnson, and Johnson. And of course, Birds was adjusted on that to 1-18, but she still rolled under that. So first 2 rounds go decisively to little Arthur, and we are heading into the Third round, 6 and inside to outside. Johnson has control. And 24, and that is going to be a 3-point hook. Pelkey defensively does not affect it, and heading into the next segment, Johnson with momentum. And I'm just going to use this to show which fighter has momentum. So next segment, 4-2, outside and inside. It's tied. They're going to exchange punches. Johnson has momentum. He'll go first. 37 from the inside, and that's going to be a 4-point uppercut reduced to 3 due to the trait adjustment. Pelkey gets his off, and Pelkey is going to miss. So we head to the third segment of the first round. Johnson still with momentum. 1-2, outside 3 stars. That's going to automatically go to Johnson in control. And he misses. Pelkey with a chance to counter. 1-4, does not. Heading into segment 4 of the round, Johnson still with momentum. And 3-2, and it's going to be a toe-to-toe exchange again, this time from the outside. 71, and little Arthur misses Pelkey, looking to fire back. 76, he misses as well. So both fighters flailing away from the outside, not scoring. 3-4, and that's going to be outside 2 stars to outside 0. Johnson regains offensive control and almost a possible knockdown. Instead, it's going to be a 4-point jab. So Johnson pumping the jab into Pelkey's face as we enter segment 6 of the third round. Inside to inside, Johnson has offensive control and just dominating at this point. And we're going to have a possible knockdown if he lands, and he does not. He misses. So Pelkey can get a knockdown if he lands a counter shot on 1-4. He misses as well. And again, just to clarify on that, when there is a counter opportunity, if the fighter with the offensive action misses and the resolution dice is within the countering fighter's power range, which this is 3 and it's a 1, a counter shot will result in a possible knockdown there. So I'm just clarifying little things as I go through this fight. So 3-6 inside, Johnson with control. And 72, and he's going to miss. Pelkey looking to counter. He does not. So head into the final 40 seconds of the round. Yeah, this round has kind of been very up and down and consistent. Outside and inside, they're tied, so this will be an exchange, toe-to-toe, conducted from the outside. Since Johnson has momentum, Johnson misses. And Pelkey, 24, and Pelkey's going to score a 2-point cross. However, the adjustment due to traits reduces that to no punches landed. So Johnson showing his old master trait, and Pelkey his reluctant trait. 6s across the board. We'll finish the third round on the inside. Johnson in control. And 26, that's going to be a 3-point hook. And Pelkey defensively is going to block one of those. So 2 punches land, and that is the end of the round. So once again, another decisive round for Jack Johnson. He is just giving Pelkey a boxing lesson. Still very fresh, and 11-punch differential on the scoring. So 11, and again there, that's in the 9-12 range. So 1-19, 1-18 for Bird, and 1-19 for Green. They all give it to Johnson 10-9. So Johnson pitching a shutout through 3 rounds. And we move on to the fourth. Stamina check. Johnson at 85, Pelkey at 39. So Pelkey is going to be running out of juice very soon. Tied, both from the outside. They're going to exchange punches. Johnson goes first as he has momentum. And 55 just missed there. Pelkey looking to land. Is he going to? 58, he misses as well. So on to segment 2. And inside, no stars. Inside, 1 star. Pelkey's going to get a rare offensive control opportunity. And 87, he's going to turn that into a clinch, which means no other action takes place. On to segment 3. Outside for Johnson, 3 stars. Automatically going to go to him. And 21 from the outside, Johnson, a 4-point cross. And Pelkey does not affect that, so 4 punches land for Johnson. He maintains momentum. As we head into segment 4 of the 4th round, Johnson, an overwhelming performance at this point in time. He retains offensive control from the outside, 2 stars to 0. And 55, he just misses. Pelkey looking to counter, does not. Heading into the next segment, and 6 and 2, inside for Johnson, inside for Pelkey. Johnson takes the offensive control, 2 stars to 1. And 0-5 on the inside, and that's going to be a 4-point cross. And Pelkey, can he block any of that? He can't. So Johnson just running away, and again, we have a punishment factor. If there's ever a punches landed disparity of 15 or more, we will continue to check for TKO. And inside, both have 2 stars. They're going to exchange punches. Johnson first with momentum. And 40 from the inside, a 3-point uppercut reduced to 2 for the reluctant trait of Pelkey. And Pelkey, 24, he's going to get some punches off. A 3-point hook reduced to 1 punch landed due to the traits of both men when exchanging toe-to-toe. On to the next segment. Johnson still has momentum. He landed more punches in that toe-to-toe exchange. Outside, 1 star. Outside, no stars for Pelkey. Johnson, offensive control still. And from the outside, that's going to be a miss. Pelkey looking to counter, does not. Heading into the final 40 seconds of the 4th round. Outside, 3 stars for Johnson. He's got the offensive control, as Pelkey has no 3-star categories. And 52 from the outside, and a 4-point uppercut jars Pelkey. And we head into the final segment, and if Johnson lands and Pelkey does not in this segment, we're going to have a TKO check. 5 and 2 outside, 1 star, inside 2 stars. Pelkey, however, has offensive control now. Johnson on the defensive. And 34 on the inside, and that's a possible knockdown for Pelkey. 34. It's going to be a 2-point hook. And Johnson, a chin rating of 3. Are you kidding me? He's down. Johnson is down. A shocking result at the end of the round. And Johnson, a KO rating of 3. He struggles to get up, and he just barely makes it to his feet at the bell. Wow. An amazing round for Pelkey. He only lands 3 punches, takes 14. But he finishes with a huge hook that shocks and rocks Johnson at the end of the round. So that will create some interesting scoring. And Johnson smiling now as he sits on his stool, but that was a shocking turn of events at the end of the round. Johnson has been down before. Sullivan dropped him, which turned their fight into a draw. So for scoring, Johnson won that by 11 rounds. So you'll go to the scoring chart. And in that situation, if there is a knockdown and the fighter losing by 11 punches scores the knockdown, it automatically becomes a 10-9 round for the low scorer. So not a 10-8 because Johnson dominated so decisively. But Pelkey has kind of woken the masses up, and he'll have momentum as we head into the 5th round here. Stamina check, 25 left for Pelkey and 82 for Johnson. Inside, Johnson no stars, and outside no stars. They're going to exchange from the outside since that was Pelkey's call. And the stun, after a knockdown, the stun rating does not apply here where Pelkey gets an unopposed offensive action because they had a chance to rest between rounds. Pelkey misses from the outside. Johnson with his shot. And 31 from the outside, and that's going to be a 2-point cross reduced to 1. Johnson takes back momentum as we head into segment 2 of round 5. And outside for both fighters, they're going to exchange again as they both had a star. Johnson goes first with momentum. And 82, Johnson's going to miss. And Pelkey, 62, he's going to miss as well. So we head into the next segment. And 6 and 1. Inside, 2 stars for Johnson. He has offensive control. And 60 from the inside, going to be a miss. Pelkey with a chance to counter. And does not. Heading into segment 4, Johnson has his head clear now. 1 star for each from the outside. They're going to exchange blows, and Johnson will be first. So 75 from the outside, Johnson misses. Can Pelkey land? 34, and that can be a possible knockdown if his adjustment doesn't ruin it for him. 34, that's a 3-point reduced to 1, and that's enough to have another potential knockdown. So Pelkey rocks. Johnson's down again from an uppercut. Johnson looking to get to his feet, and he does. But wow, down for the second time in a fight, he was dominating, and Pelkey will have an unopposed offensive action in this next segment. It'll take place on the inside, and if a power shot lands, we're going to make a TKO check. 4, holy crap. 4 from the inside, and that is going to be a jab. So 2 punches land, but there will be no TKO check because that is not a power shot. And Johnson now shaking his head, talking to the crowd. He is talking to Pelkey. Pelkey saying, come on and fight. And Johnson takes offensive control back as he has his wits about him again. 41 from the outside, a 3-point hook, and Pelkey does not block any of that. So heading into segment 6, and the crowd is really into this fight now. We have had a shocking turn of events, 2 knockdowns in a fight Johnson was dominating. Johnson has control from the outside, 74 going to miss, and Pelkey looking to counter, does not. Heading into the final minute of the round, and 45 outside for both fighters. Johnson takes it 2 stars to 1. And he has control, and Johnson now with a possible knockdown. He has finally got pissed off, and that is a 4-point cross that lands. And Pelkey, a chin rating of 6. Johnson rocks him with a cross, and Pelkey shakes it off and smiles and says, come on, give me some more. Heading into the final 40 seconds of the round, this is turning into quite the fight. Johnson gets 3 stars here. He'll have the offensive action from the outside, and 56 just misses. Pelkey looking to counter. It does not. Last 20 seconds of the round, and we are 5 rounds in. Most people did not think it would go this long. Outside for both fighters, and they're tied, so they're going to exchange punches. And Johnson with momentum again goes first, and 38 from the outside. That is a 4-point hook reduced to 3 due to the adjustment. And Pelkey, 7, and a possible cut on Johnson. And remember, Pelkey has a gash over his left eye. And 0-7 from the outside, it's going to be a 2-point jab. However, due to the old master and reluctant adjustment, that is reduced to no punches landed, so there can be no cut. Wow, so another strange round to say the least. And again, Pelkey down to 14 stamina now. Johnson still has 79. Again, Pelkey's really only action resulted in a knockdown. So while it was an 8-point win for Johnson, that's going to be a 10-8 round to Pelkey. So Pelkey, this fight is dead even now due to these developments. So we are heading into the 6th round. Pelkey down to his last 14 in stamina. That will play a huge role. Fighting from the outside, they're going to exchange. Johnson finished the round with momentum. He goes first. 68 is going to be a miss. And Pelkey. Pelkey going to land, and if he lands, a possible cut, and that is 1 punch with the adjustment. So Johnson, his cut rating is only 3, however, and he is unscathed. But Pelkey snatches back momentum as we head to the 2nd segment of the round. And 5-2 outside and outside for both. I'm sorry, outside, inside, and tied. So the action will take place on the inside, toe-to-toe. Pelkey going first. Pelkey misses. Johnson. 10, and that's going to be another possible cut, and that is a 3-point cross reduced to 2. So Pelkey's cut rating again is an 8, and he is fine. We move on to the next segment, and Johnson has momentum. 4-1, and outside 2 stars to 1. Johnson has offensive control from the outside, where he likes to be, and 4 is going to be a wicked 4-point jab. 4 punches landed. Pelkey does not block any of them. On to the next segment. Johnson. Outside 2 stars, inside no stars for Pelkey. Johnson in control. 49 from the outside, and that is going to be a 2-point hook. So 2 punches land, and Pelkey, a defensive rating of +1 on 1. So Pelkey turns that into 3 punches landed. And we head to the next segment of the round. And 3s for both. Outside and inside, Johnson maintains offensive control, and Johnson reasserting himself. He misses there. Pelkey with a chance to counter, does not. To the next segment we go. 3 and a 6, outside, inside, Johnson still in control offensively. Pelkey on the defense, and Johnson 86 from the outside. That's going to be a miss, and Pelkey looking to counter, does not. So Johnson has opportunities and letting them go by the wayside. Inside for Johnson, 2 stars. He takes control still. And 24 from the inside, and that is going to be a 3-point hook. Pelkey does not block any of those. So heading into the last 40 seconds of the round. 3-3 outside for Johnson, inside for Pelkey. Johnson with control, fighting from the outside. 76 going to be a miss. Pelkey looking to counter, does not, and we head into the final 20 seconds of round number 6. And outside for Johnson, he'll have offensive control, as that is his 3-star column. And 60 from the outside just misses. Pelkey with a chance to counter, does not, and that is the end of the round. So 12 punches landed to 1. And Johnson dominating things. Pelkey's going to run out of stamina next round. And this was an 11 punch differential in this round for Johnson. So we will roll for the judges, and all three are going to give it to Johnson 10-9. So Johnson has recovered from the near disaster that occurred at the end of the 4th round and into the 5th. To resume control. So 7th round, here we go. Pelkey fatiguing rapidly. Action takes place on the inside. Johnson has control and a possible cut. 19 on the inside, and a huge 4-point hook lands for Johnson. And 8 or less. And Pelkey, no further damage, which is good for him. He's got that gash looming over him. Corner's done a great job on that. 5 and a 4, so outside, 1 star for Johnson, good enough to maintain control. And 2 is going to be a 3-point jab, and Pelkey takes all of those. So Johnson looking to up his game now and get a stoppage. 4 for both fighters. Outside, Johnson in control. And another possible cut if he lands, and 50, that is a 2-point hook. So Pelkey, 8 or less, and I did not touch it. It is a 1. So another cut has occurred. So first we check to see if the gash has been reopened. 10 or less it has, and 4, it has been reopened. So this time it does get reopened, and we now go to the stoppage chart. Second time a gash is reopened, it is a 1-10, and the fight will be stopped. And referee is going to let it go. So Pelkey pleading his case. He is pouring blood. They let him fight on. 2 stars for Johnson, 1 for Pelkey. Action on the outside. Johnson in control. That has been the case for this entire round. And 31 from the outside, and that's going to be a 2-point cross. Pelkey. 13 does not block any of those. And Johnson coming up on TKO territory if he continues to land and Pelkey does not. Johnson again has offensive control. 2 stars to 1 from the outside and 0-0. That's a wicked 4-point jab. And Pelkey does not a thing to deflect any of those. So we now have a 15-punch differential. And that will result in a will check, a TKO check. Pelkey is not officially fatigued, so 5 or less, Steele is going to stop it, and he lets it go. Now, as long as, from this point on, as long as Johnson lands and that punch differential remains 15 or greater, we will have TKO stoppages until Pelkey gets that differential under 15. So outside, 1 star, no stars for Pelkey. Johnson looking to pour it on now. 72, he misses. Pelkey, can he counter? He does. And that's huge for Pelkey, a 2-point hook. And that gets him out of TKO danger as we head into the final minute of the round. 6-2, inside 2 stars, inside 2 stars. They are going to exchange punches, and Pelkey, because he landed that counter shot, has momentum. He goes first. And 22 on the inside, and 4-point hook reduced to 2 due to his adjustment. Johnson, 37, and that's going to be a 4-point uppercut reduced to 3. So 18-4, and precariously close to another TKO check. 2 stars for Johnson and none for Pelkey on the inside. Johnson with control, and 11 on the inside, and a 3-point cross lands. And Pelkey tries to block some of those. He can't, and we have another TKO check. So 40 seconds left in the round, and again, Will, 5 or less, it's over, and Steele's going to let him go. Final 20 seconds of the round. And if Johnson lands, we will have another TKO check, and he has offensive control still. This has been an exciting round, lots of action. 64, Johnson's going to miss. And Pelkey does not counter, but that ends the round, and 16 punches land for Johnson. And only 4, I'm sorry, 20, wow, 21. So a huge round for Johnson. And Pelkey, kind of typical round for him. He has not landed double figures in any round at all. And he is gassed out of stamina for the rest of the fight. And the differential in this round is huge, folks. So 17 punches, and that is going to be 10-8 for Johnson and 10-9 if he gets a 19 or 20, which does not happen. So at this point, Pelkey's stamina has come into play. In other words, he is gassed, so we will now check the second column for all chin traits, will traits, and power traits. So his power range is reduced from 3 to 5 when stunned to 2 to 3 when stunned. He goes down now on a roll of 8 on a knockdown check, stunned on a roll of 12 or less, and his KO chin rating has gone from 5 to 7, his will from 5 to 9. And if that wasn't enough, he will have 1 punch deducted from every sequence of blows he lands from this point on. So Johnson, starting the 8th round, in control now, and many at ringside are wondering how much longer this can go on. And 51 is going to be a 2-point hook, and Pelkey does not block that. So Johnson picking right up where he left off. We head to the second segment of the 8th. 4 and a 6, outside and inside. Johnson still in control. And 23. And that is going to be 4-point cross, and Pelkey just getting hammered now. He is target practice for Johnson. This will be on the inside. Johnson still in offensive control. Pelkey on the defense. And Johnson misses. Pelkey does not counter. On to the next segment we go. And inside, no stars, 1-star Pelkey, a rare offensive control action. And that would have been a possible knockdown if he was fresh, but he is not, and he missed anyway, so it doesn't matter. Can be a possible knockdown for Johnson if he lands a counter, 8 or less, and doesn't. So Pelkey has not been off his feet. Johnson has been down, caught twice by flash. Well, one was not a flash knockdown. One, he barely beat the count. 3 and a 5 outside and outside. Johnson back in control. And 22, and from the outside, that's going to be a 4-point cross, and Pelkey does not block any of those. So we are getting up into TKO range check again as the round progresses. And Pelkey takes back offensive control. Fighting from the inside, can he land? 63, and Pelkey, that's going to be a miss. Johnson looking to counter, 8 or less, does not. Heading into the final minute of round number 8 here in this one. Turned out to be a very entertaining fight overall. They're going to exchange blows on the inside. Johnson first because he has momentum. And possible cut. And 7. It's going to be a 4-point cross reduced to 3. We will do Pelkey before we check the cut. And Pelkey, possible knockdown if he lands from the inside. 49. That's a 1-point. Oh, wait, they're exchanging. So his fatigue adjustment and the trait adjustment, no punches land. So Pelkey misses his chance for the knockdown. And we will now check for another cut. Does not happen. Final 40 seconds of the round. And Johnson dodging some bullets here with the rolls. Inside, they're going to exchange blows again. Johnson goes first, 79. He's going to miss. Pelkey, 33 from the inside, and he's going to get a 2-point hook, but the adjustments make no punches landed again because he is fatigued, and it's toe-to-toe, so it's -2 for that. So the reluctant trait hurting Pelkey, as well as Johnson been helped by his old master trait. Outside to inside, they're going to exchange this time on the outside. Johnson goes first, 52. It's going to be a 3-point uppercut reduced to 2. And if Pelkey does not land any punches, we have a TKO check at the end of the round. And 53. And that is going to be a miss. So the round ends, and as the round is winding down, 15-punch differential still. Looking in for a TKO check, and will rating is now 9. So 9 or less, this fight's over, and somehow Pelkey continues to soldier on. Wow. He lands no punches in that round, so a total at this point back to a total rout for Johnson. 1 to 18 is 10 to 9, 19 or 20 is 10 to 8. And it's going to be 10-9 across the board for Johnson, who has won every round except those 2 that he was caught by a ill-fated blow that whether he was off balance or not, he went down. So we head to the 9th round, and Johnson's still very fresh. He's going to finish this fight fresh. Outside, Johnson has control, as that's his 3-star category. And 87, that's going to be a miss, but Pelkey, if he can counter a potential cut for Johnson, he does not. So second segment of the round, and 54, 1 star to no stars, Johnson in offensive control again. And 15, and this is going to be from the outside, and this will be a 2-point jab. Outside 2 stars, outside no stars. Johnson in control. And it could have been a possible knockdown, but now Pelkey, if he can land a counter punch, and this is how this fight has gone. Wow, he does not. So Pelkey, I guess, still has that puncher's chance. Inside 2 stars and no stars for Pelkey. Johnson in control. 13-18 on the, going to be a 4-point hook defensively. No changes. Midway through the 9th round is what, again, has turned into a very entertaining fight. Johnson has been dominant through most of it, just has had a couple of moments of, I guess, a scare. And a 0-8, that's going to be a 3-point cross and a potential cut. So 8 or less, we're going to go back to the cut chart, and Pelkey okay. 6s, this will be on the inside, a Johnson in control. 73, and Johnson's going to miss. Pelkey looking to counter, does not. And heading into the final minute of the 9th round as this fight's winding down, folks. 2 stars to 1. Johnson controlling from the outside, misses, and that is a possible knockdown if Pelkey lands his counter shots. Does not. So heading into the last 40 seconds of the round. Outside 2 stars, inside 1. Johnson in control from the outside. He needs to start making some hay here. Get Pelkey out of there. A 4-punch salvo. And Pelkey's going to make that 5 with the roll of 1. So that puts Johnson at 14 punches landed as we head into the final segment of the fight. And again, another potential TKO check looms. Outside 2 stars, outside no stars for Pelkey. Johnson, offensive control, 18. And that is going to be a 2-point jab, and that's going to be enough for another TKO check. So as the round comes to a close, Steele looking closely at Pelkey. Is he going to step in? He still lets him go on. So the crowd, many of whom now shouting for the fight to be stopped. Let's see how this is scored. Should be 10-9 across the board for Johnson. It is. And Johnson, another big round, 16 punches landed to 0, and we head into the final round. Crowd on its feet, as much acknowledging Pelkey's bravery as anything else. Johnson's absolutely hammering him now at this point. Johnson in control from the outside, and 93. 93 is going to be a clinch, and that ends that segment. On to the next one. 2 and a 6, and they're going to exchange from the inside. Johnson goes first. 60, possible knockdown if he lands, but he does not. Johnson misses. Pelkey fires back, and Pelkey, 22 from the inside. That is a 4-point hook and reduced to 1 due to fatigue and the traits. But Pelkey lands a punch. It's kind of been rare lately. And Pelkey in control from the outside now. Trying to rally here at the end of the fight. And 4, he misses. Johnson with a potential counter, 8 or less. And 9, nope. So Johnson just looking to coast now. And 2, no stars. Pelkey carrying the action, dictating the pace right now. 93 from the outside, and that is going to be a clinch. So both fighters fatigued, and Pelkey forcing the pace. Johnson knows he has this fight in the bag. 2 stars for Johnson, no stars for Pelkey. Johnson from the inside, and 54. It's going to be a miss. Pelkey looking to counter. And Pelkey lands a 2-point cross, reduced to 1 due to fatigue. But he'll take what he can get at this point. Outside 1 star, and Johnson back in control. Dancing around, and Johnson, possible knockdown here, 29. And that is going to be a 3-point cross. Johnson's first punches landed of the round, and looking for the late stoppage here. Again, Pelkey fatigued. His chin rating is 8, stunned rating is 12, and 13. What is keeping him up? He just shakes it off and comes back. So the crowd roaring their appreciation of Pelkey and the abuse he has taken in this fight. 10, Johnson in control, and that is going to be from the outside, a 3-point jab, and Pelkey makes it 4. And we head into the final 40 seconds of this fight. Crowd on their feet. 2 stars for Johnson, no stars for Pelkey. Johnson in control from the inside. And 16 and 10, that's going to be a 3-point cross, and Pelkey, no change to it. So Johnson rallying now. He played around for the first minute or so of this round, but he's going to finish big. And Johnson gets the final offensive action of the fight from the outside. And 58 from the outside is going to be a miss. Can Pelkey counter? And just misses the counter shot, and that is the fight, ladies and gentlemen. As the bell rings and Johnson lands 10 punches to 2 in this round. Johnson landed double-figure blows in every single round. Pelkey did not land double-single blows in any round and would have been completely shut out if not for the shocking knockdown at the end of round 4 and the flash knockdown early in round 5. So scoring for the final round, 8-punch differential. So 1-15 is Johnson. Bird, this will be 1-13 Johnson. Gets it, and 1-15 again. So Johnson, and again Johnson has won every round but those 2. So no need to bother with formalities at this point. The final scores for all 3 judges are going to be exactly the same. 97-92 for Harold Letterman, 97-92 for Adelaide Bird, and 97-92 for Richard Green, the winner by unanimous decision, the Galveston Giant, Jack Johnson. And our final punch stat numbers, holy crap. 25, 36, 50, 61, 73, 94, 109, 119, 125. Johnson landed 135 punches, and throughout the fight, Pelkey only landed 12, 16, 18. So a total domination, again, minus those 2 scary moments, but total domination for Jack Johnson, a unanimous 10-round decision in 97-92 on all 3 cards. So he fights himself back into title contention and settles beyond a doubt that Pelkey was not a serious heavyweight title challenger back in their time when they fought. So before we go, I want to give a special shout out to Al Red Sox fan. He had a 10-round bout last night on his channel featuring this game between George Chuvalo and Henry Cooper. That was a bloodbath, and I appreciate Al highlighting the game and did a great job with that. I know you're still getting used to the rules and mechanics, but any questions or any feedback, please feel free to let me know. And one more thing, Charles Malrum, I hope I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. You were actually in Al's chat last night and entered the contest for a beta giveaway. You were actually one of the winners drawn, Charles. So if you watch this video, please leave me your email address in the comments or send it via message on YouTube, and I can get the package to you. So you can start playing the game as well. I appreciate the support, and again, really happy with how this game is coming. Any suggestions, comments, thoughts would definitely be appreciated. And next up for the channel will be a Soccer Blast game that will take place it'll take place Sunday morning tomorrow. I'm still recovering, obviously, from hernia surgery, so I can't participate, but my wife is doing a 5K mud run, so I'm going to go cheer her on, and then we have a party, and if we win tonight in the playoffs, which we have a very, very tough challenge, also have to make time to watch film tomorrow. So Saturday is out, Sunday is definitely in for another video. Until next time, again, thanks for the support. Please like the video, subscribe, and keep swinging for the knockout. We'll see you later. Happy Friday, everyone.